Are you new to watercolor? Or do you need a refresher on the most basic techniques? Welcome to Watercolor 101 Foundational Practice and clarify two of the most important terms on watercolor: wet on wet and wet on dry. So let's get busy. This is my main palette. I have others, I will show you one day. But I have paint that I squeezed out of a tube. If you see those little square, tiny pans, those are fine too. Whatever you have, it will work good. But the only way that you're gonna get this to paint is by adding water. Using a dry brush and a dry paint is not gonna do nothing. We dip a brush in water, then we can activate the paint. The longer you let them wet, the easier it will be for you to get your pigment. So keep that in mind. Then you just get it out, and then it's easy to bring it over here. All right, I think that we're ready to start. Burnt sienna with French Ultramarine to get a mix of grays. And we're gonna put the same color with the same mix onto two squares, actually three, to show you the wet on wet, wet on dry, and a hybrid of them two. It's wet. This is the wet that is referred to on the wet on dry. If I start applying my color, the color stays where I put it, giving me hard edges, sharp hard edges, because the paper is dry. I keep dipping my brush to collect more paint, and I continue to paint. Wet on dry technique is perfect if we want to do architectural paintings, if we want, anytime that we want to have a sharp edge, rocks, or whenever we want the paint to stay wherever we put it. Wet on dry. Now let's go for our wet on wet. In this case, we wet the paper ahead of time. When we do the wet on wet, our paper usually is shiny. Now we have one wet. Now we bring the color, and that is a second wet, wet on wet. When we apply this color, look what happened. The paint spreads wherever the water is, and it gives us very soft edges. This technique is great for skies when we want to have soft transitions, or also for backgrounds. And finally, I'm gonna show you a hybrid. I'm gonna wet half of my square. I don't know if you can see the shine here, but I'm going just half. And then I'm gonna leave the other half dry. I start now by applying my paint wet on dry paper, wet paint. Notice paint stays wherever I put it, giving me the hard edges. Notice what happens when the color touches the wet area. You see, the paint goes into the soft edge, spreading where the water is. Most of the paintings do a dance between these two techniques. Some areas will have only the wet on dry, other ones will have the wet on wet, and many areas of the paint will be a mix of both, like in this case. Think about flower petals, for example, where a lot of times we want to have transitions. And then you have it, wet on dry, wet on wet, hybrid. As always, best way to learn is by doing. So draw yourself 3 squares and try the wet on dry, wet on wet, and the hybrid, and see how it feels when you do it. If this was helpful to you, please hit subscribe. I'll see you in the studio. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe. And if you would like a piece for your home, you will find prints on my website. Click here for the next video.